Hi there, welcome to part 1 of the Ed209 tutorial. This is a 3D Palace tutorial for 3D Studio Max, and we'll work on versions probably 6, 7, 8, 9, 2008 and 2009. Okay, now this tutorial is going to be broken down into several parts. The first part, I'm going to build a low polygon base. This is basically a cage mesh for me to work out the high polygon mesh from. Then I'm going to build the high polygon from the low polygon mesh. Then I'm going to create a low polygon game model, basically using automated polygon crunching tools. Then I'm going to create a normal map using the high poly model. I'm going to bake textures. Well, I'm going to bake basically the high polygon model to a diffuse map. I'm going to paint some textures, and then I'm going to pass it on to a games dude who's going to do awesome game stuff with it in the Unreal 3 engine. Alright, now I have my references. I haven't bothered printing them out today. I've got them on a second monitor, so unfortunately you can't see them, but I can. Everything is thoroughly low polygon at first, and then we move on from there. Okay, so usual 3D Palace way, start with the feet if it's a mech, and we're going to build it in the perspective. Okay, so I've just enlarged it using the maximize viewport toggle. You'll notice in the top left I've got my keys on, so you can see what I'm doing. It'll just preview the key. First place I'm going to start with is going to be a box, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag it out. Now there's no particular method to my madness, okay, simply because whilst following the spirit of Ed209 I don't have any statistical measurements for Ed209, so I'm just going to have to go best way, as it were. Okay, now this is going to be the foot. So I'm going to rename it foot 01 so we know what it is, and I've already converted to an edible polygon, so I want to get busy now on basically shaping it the way I want. So I'm going to grab here and here, just use my move tools, bring to here, and then I'm going to bring this one in. There's going to be a lot of polygon modeling in this tutorial, okay, so if you don't like polygon modeling, you're not going to be having a good time. Anyway, I'm going to go here and here, and I think, let me have a look at this. Possibly I'm going to want to use symmetry for a change. I'll decide. Let me see. Yeah, why not? I'm going to go straight down the middle here and do a connect. That just gives us this one line. Then I'm going to get rid of here and just delete it. And then I'm going to just press S for symmetry. Here it is all the way down here. And then I'm going to pick the correct axis. It's the Y, but it's a flipped axis. There we go. I'm turning on weld seams automatically. Okay, now if I pin my stack, go down to edible poly and turn on show end result, we can see what I'm doing a lot better. Okay, I'm going to select here, and I'm going to extrude it out roughly by the same distance as the width of the entire foot here, like so. Now I'm going to take this piece here, and I'm going to bring it down to around about there, like so. And now if I select my vert, I'm just going to bring this vert forward a bit like that. I've just got it in the front viewport so I can make sure this lines up properly the way I want it to. Okay, that's fine. And that flattens that out nicely. Now over here, what I'm going to do is extrude this, and it'll extrude it like so. And I'm going to scratch my nose. Right, I'm going to just start moving some of these. Now I'm not interested in the topology of my model. Incidentally, you can probably hear Mr. Twitters, the 3D Palace bird, in the background. So I don't have to worry about quads or tris or anything like that, because they're not a particular worry to me at the moment. I'm just going to target weld this down. There we are, and we get this shape here. And I'm just going to check this again. Just make sure this is high enough. I do a lot of this. This is all polygon modeling, so I'm going to want to make sure that my shape's correct, yeah? Now over here, where I have the outer toe, what I'm going to want to do is select here, and I'm going to do a bevel. But what I'm going to do is a manual bevel, and I'm going to give it a 0 length, like that, and then I'm going to bring it out like that. Alright. Now if I go into my viewport here, what I'm going to do is start moving these around a bit. Just going to move that level to there on the home grid. I'm going to start dragging out these shapes a bit, because I'm going to want to even this shape, like so. Ed 209 is a real classic kind of movie bad guy robot. It follows all the archetypes perfectly, so we're going to want to do quite a good job on him. Okay, extrude, and this time I'm going to extrude by 0, and I'm just going to drag it out like so, and then flatten it just on one axis. Okay, and then just look at this. I'm just going to bring these in a little bit so they overlap like that. Then I'm going to spin this around, grab this, and I'm going to bring it in. Oops, wrong way. Just on this x-axis here. I'll just start doing some more moves here. Then just scale it on this axis again. This axis just a little bit less. There we are. Now I'm going to look at the widths and shapes I've got here. This needs to be brought in because it's far too wide. Okay, and that's creating a much better shape now that we've brought that in. There we go. But I'm going to want to just possibly work on this shape over here, just bring it in a little bit. So there we are. And I think I'm going to straighten this as well. Okay, and if I loop this, I can straighten all three simultaneously and then bring it in. Okay, to about there. Now, what I'm going to do is chamfer this edge a little bit, like so, and then I can grab this loop here and just loop that. Just adjust the ring on this. Now if we look, I'm not too fond of this overlapped polygon here, so I'm going to bring this forward a bit. Overlaps really don't work that well on feet anyway. Like I said before, a lot of edits and polygon changes needed in this just to get our basic shape together. We're going to refine the hell out of this later on anyway. Okay, now over here on the front, again just going to extrude this by 0, and I'm going to drag it forward. Well, actually no, I'm going to drag it wide first. So I'll just do that. Now as you see, we've got some problems here in that we've got some overlap on our edges because of the symmetry modifier, so I'll just pull these in just to about there. Okay, back to here again. Do another extrude, and this time just bring it forward like so, and flatten it. Okay. Bring it out a little bit further, and then angle it a bit. Now, I'm going to manually move some of these verts. Just be careful because I don't want to change the angle too much. Okay. Wrong vert, hang on, it's going to be easier just getting the edge here. There we are. Let's get this right up. Okay, now over here we need to adjust our angles again. So I'm going to go to my left viewport so I can get these all to kind of line up a bit better. Okay, and then if I just drag this, and use the rotate key, just drag that out to there, and then lower these down. And I'll just use the scale key just to flatten them completely, so they're more used to be that way. Okay, drop into perspective. That's a much better shape. Now over here, start pulling this in, like so. That's going to give us the base of our foot now. I'm going to bring these down a bit because it's a bit high. Okay. Let's grow this a bit. Bring these in. Just as I've said before, we're just kind of messing around with the shape, trying to get something that's going to work for us as best as we can, yeah? Okay, now we also need a rear toe put in place. We don't have a rear toe yet, so okay, let's pick a good place for it. I'm just going to right click, convert to editable poly, because I now want this as a single object, and I'll do a quick Control A by vert to make sure everything's welded into one piece, and then I'm going to have a look inside my model, just make sure there's nothing weird that shouldn't be here. No, it's fine. Alright, again, like I said, this is a high polygon model, so the topology of quads and tris does not worry me in the slightest. Just going to bring this down a bit. Okay. I'm going to extrude this by 0. And then just pull it out like that. This becomes our rear toe area. I'm looking at a very limited set of movements for our piece compared to, for example, a high polygon model, because, as you know, we're looking at a game model here, and game models by definition are going to have slightly less movement than a high polygon cinema quality model, obviously. Okay, bring that down to there. So I think I should bring in these pieces a little bit more as well. This is very much working by eye, alright? So if you don't like working by eye, really tough shit, because that's what we're doing. Okay, now I'm going to delete these back polygons here, and we're going to build the shocks. So this is a cylinder, and I'm just going to draw it out here. Let me see, I'll bring it down to about 12 segs, convert to editable polygon, and I'm just going to flip it over, turn on angle snap, do it 90 degrees like that. Okay, now let's move this piece over here, top viewport, zoom, and it'll allow me to center these up. Before I do, I'm just going to change this to 0, 0, 0, so it's exactly in the middle. And then if I change this to 0, 0, 0, it'll also be exactly in the middle. It'll make lining it up just a tiny bit easier for me. Okay. Bring that through like that. Now, some people would want to boolean this to this piece, some people want to do it some other way. I'm going to do it the old-fashioned manual way. So, delete that. And we can see the edge I want to align it to. This is easy enough. All we've got to do is just slowly move our verts until they line up, basically. It may need a couple of goes. I sometimes find it considerably easier turning off the anti-aliasing, because anti-aliasing will basically make jaggies, and when your jaggies line up, then it makes it a little bit easier if you're working by eye. A lot of other people go, oh god, you're working by eye, why? But we're all grown-ups here, so, you know, get used to it. Especially with the industry out there complaining that, you know, students leaving college, blah blah, in the UK, not that fantastic. You need to diversify and use your artistic skills as well. Okay, that's not bad. Okay, just looking at this. I'm going to start attaching it together. So, attach that to that. Then I'm going to use the bridge tool. That goes to there, and to there. And if we go at the underside, we can do the same again. Gives us a lot more control if we close off the model ourselves. Okay, now we can cap this piece. Try to remember where I put cap. There it is. And again on this side. Okay, and that closes that part off. And now we have our simple foot. Okay, and I'm going to turn on statistics. So go to configure, statistics, and show statistics. As we can see, we have a grand total of 83 polygons in our scene so far. So it's not exactly eating up the amount by any stretch of the imagination. I'm going to move this in a bit. I think it's a little bit too far out. Okay, see you in the next bit. Till then, bye bye for now.